Hi and welcome back. I'm Dee. If you've been to my channel, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, I am Dee Garone, owner and photographer for Dee Garone Photography in South Florida. I am today talking about how you pick your style of photography. This is something you kind of need to know before you even book your photographer because it depends on what you want portrayed on your big day. If you're looking for something unique, something a little old school, something very modern, that needs to come through with your photographer's style. So I will give you a little bit more information and all sorts of ideas. But first, like, subscribe. I put out a video every single Saturday. And if you don't know yet, I'm Italian, so these things will be in all of the videos way too much. So let's get right into it. There are an overabundance of types of photography styles. What I mean by styles is the way a photographer may compose the photos, their color preferences, if they are their photos come out on a cooler side or very warm and welcoming. Depending on your style and what you're looking for is how you then need to look for your photographer before you book for your wedding. There are also two different types of physical photography. There's the old school film and digital. Film photography is still a thing, believe it or not. There are still photographers who will use majority, if not only, film on your wedding day. While that is very vintage and very cool, you can edit digital photos to look a little more filmy. Film, however, is very intentional. The photographer is taking very few images, comparing to digital. You may still take a few hundred photos, but because you are limited to the number of photos on a film roll, heck, I even have some photographers I know who shoot entirely in Polaroid, which is an amazing and beautifully artistic style, but it does have some flaws. You can miss things easier than you would with digital, where I could take 20 images in a second and not miss that moment. Mind you, 20 images a second is a little much. I don't do that always. But for the kiss, for instance, you don't want to maybe have someone with a weird eye closed or something. I don't know. My preference is digital because I'm paranoid that I'm going to miss something, or the spin that the flower girl does on the dance floor. I miss her beautiful smile as she's spinning. Those are just things that it's my preference. I will work in digital. While I do have a Polaroid and I can throw some cool film elements in, you may want to know ahead of time if that's something that you really, really want and you're okay with it being spontaneous and very documentary style. Oops, excuse me, phone. There are a few different styles as well to photography. If you are a fan of the classic, traditional way of doing things, what that means is it's a little more posed. It is a very timeless way of taking photos. You've seen these photos in your grandparents' albums and on their walls, and it's a very, very traditional way of doing things. That's not to say it has to be only classic. You don't need to have a photographer who only shoots in classic form. You can have a blend of all of these different styles that I'm going to be talking about, so you can have a modern take on the classic look. I myself throw classic photos and poses into the mix so that you have them as well, even if your style may be a little bit more lifestyle or a little more modern. You can still have classical elements. So knowing that your photographer is willing to do those things, if that's what you want, is very important. On the other side, you can have a very artistic style. This is very new and edgy and may not have emphasis on the posed or your faces even. An artistic style can be more about the feeling, the ambiance, the environment you're in, And if that's something that you really, really find important, then the artistic value higher in your keyword search when you're looking for photographers. Artistic does not have to, again, not be able to blend with these other styles, but if you're looking for a photographer who has a very artsy style, they have a very different way of looking at photography. They may be looking through mirrors or hiding behind bushes or finding the very, very unique ways and very unique perspective and a twist on your wedding. If that's what you're looking for, make sure you use the keyword artistic while looking for your photographer. I myself have a weird blend. I enjoy using the word lifestyle as my style. Lifestyle photography is more relaxed, a little more natural, less posed, and a lot of lifestyle photographers will use prompts or things to kind of get you into some sort of movement or emotion so that you can show this in the photos. As a lifestyle photographer, it may be a little bit more posing in terms of if I see you move a certain way, but it was perfect except your arm was in your way of the photo, I may say, okay, do that again, but swing your arm down instead. That's a lifestyle photography showing the mood and the ambiance and the atmosphere, but with more guidance. If you're looking for emphasis on your photography it's a little bit more photojournalist, and I'm not necessarily hoping to pose you in every single photo like a classic photographer may, but I will help. I'm going to enhance your posing and enhance your experience just a little bit because I can't guarantee that all of the photos are going to be picture perfect because they're supposed to be a little bit more spontaneous. So if I can throw in a few extra, I helped you a little bit in the photo to make sure that it came out with the most flattering angle or the most appealing smile, then I'll do that. And that's a little bit more of the photojournalist or the lifestyle style. With a mix of the classic and artistic comes dramatic. Very posed, high key contrast lighting, very, very cinematic photography. This generally involves a lot of lighting, a lot of additional equipment, but is killer, in your face, boom photography. This is the stuff that you blow up to giant billboard size in your house. It is commanding and it is artistic, but it may come with a price. The dramatic needs to have someone who has a very, very strong understanding of all of this equipment. While all of these other photography styles may have that ability, the dramatic is someone who will need more time out of you on your wedding day. It will take more time than if you were doing something a little bit more relaxed, a little more photojournalistic, and not as posy. Dramatic does need you to be in one location and do a specific pose or hold a specific emotion to fit the way that the style or the the vision of the photographer for that photo, because they have all of the lighting set up specifically for what they're thinking. The very opposite of all of this, completely, I am in the shadows, you won't see me the entire wedding because I'm out of view, is the documentary style photography. This is the cameras are in the background, go about your day as you would, and the photographer will capture it as it happens. This is very standoffish, very in the background. It has raw emotion. It has beautiful artistic elements generally, but you don't have any of those posed photos. While, again, some photographers can do a little bit of both. Know if that's what you want and you don't want to feel like there's a photographer around at all, documentary photography is definitely where you want to go because they are just there to document the day. All of these, as I say, can be mixed and mingled. If you have a vision, make sure you talk with your photographer about it. While I am a weird hybrid blend, you may not have another photographer who enjoys doing dramatic lighting or crazy posed things. So if that's something that you're really adamant on, make sure your photographer understands or is willing to do that. Don't be afraid to ask these questions. I am someone who, if you send me a shot list, I'm not going to be offended. While I do hope you know that I know what I'm doing, I want to be able to be in your head and know what you're thinking and what you want out of your big day. This is your day. So if you want me to shoot a mix of it all, I specifically, as a photographer, I love all of these. I can be what you need, but I may not have the expertise or I may not even have the equipment to do a helicopter lit explosion cinematic dramatic photo. I can absolutely hide in the shadows more and be that documentary photographer when it's time. I can be the post photographer when you need me to. And I'm happy to give you guidance if you're uncomfortable or not sure how to do something or how a pose feels or if it's even going to look any good. I'm there for you. And if you need me, you just wave. How about leave me a comment? Leave me a comment below and I will get back to you. Check me out online. I am here for you.